STAAR is almost here. So, because of that, we need to think and reflect of all the work that we've been doing over the past few weeks and come up with a surefire plan for success, our strategy for the day of the STAAR test. Whenever we embark on something that's really important or kind of a big deal, we need to get ourselves mentally prepared and have a plan of action for the day. Okay? So what I'm going to share with you today is I'm going to share with you some possibilities around how you could begin building a plan for yourself. And when I say building a plan for yourself, I mean think about it, write it down, map it out in a way that is meaningful for you so you can learn your plan, right? You internalize it, you memorize it, and then the day of the test, you execute that plan. You focus on the plan, you learn it, and you execute the plan the day of the STAAR. Okay, because we know that we're empowered to take control of that process ourselves and not be at the mercy of the test and our nerves and all that kind of stuff. Like, we're empowered over the STAAR. Okay? So what I'd like to do is share a little bit of my thinking and how I would attack this. I know that the first thing is I've got to have a plan for how I'm going to attack the test, like what order I'm going to do it in. So one of the things that I've done and that I would do on the day of the test, I took one and I kind of practiced. I went through and I surveyed, which means I looked through the test. I didn't start working on it. I looked through the test and surveyed the different kinds of passages and like labeled them according to how much brain power they would require me to use. So I know like this passage right here is an informational text. It's nonfiction and there's no story attached to it. So for me as a reader, I've got to do heavy thinking, right? This is going to cause me and I'm going to have to use a lot of energy around this. So I labeled it heavy. I went through and looked, and I noticed one here, this poetry. That's medium effort for me. It's not totally easy, but it's medium effort. Okay, so I know I might need to attack that one somewhere in the middle. And of course, paired passages, way heavy, right? So, I'm so confident in the fact that paired passages and like nonfiction informational text take so much energy for me. I know that in my plan, I can already, so I'm going to just kind of make my thinking visible here. So I'm going to just kind of put it in a box. So I know, so I'm going to put order of test. I know right here I'm going to need to do paired passages first. Then I'm going to do any nonfiction informational, nonfiction info. Then I would do poetry. And then I would probably do any kind of drama or I don't know, y'all, your drama might be different. Sometimes, yeah, I think I'd be okay with that, but that's what kind of reader I am. Our fiction would be here. Now, even though I know this about myself as a test taker, know this stuff about myself as a test taker, on the day of the test, I'm probably going to look through it again just to be sure. So I would say to myself here, survey the test first, but most likely this is what it's going to be. So that's only part of my plan for the day of the STAAR. One of the other things that I know that happens to me is that I need some kind of motivation. So I think about that because it's long. It's a 4-hour test. Like, I've got to keep myself motivated. So one of the ways I'm going to do that is I am going to take the time to use that phrase I came up with, my motivational phrase at the beginning, and I'm going to put it on my test. I think that will help me. Another thing that I will probably do is have conversations with myself, meaning I'm going to tell myself things. Probably things like, take your time. Sometimes I notice myself kind of drifting off and starting to think about things like what I might want to make for dinner. So I might just kind of say things to myself. When I get distracted, I might tell myself, stop. Put your pencil down. Take 3 deep breaths. And refocus. So I know that would work for me. All of you would have a different plan on what keeps you motivated or encouraged. And this kind of even goes back to the whole thing about being distracted, right? Like, how am I going to come up and deal with distractions? So another thing that I really need to think about, because this is one of those things that what we've been working towards and what will ensure my success, I must figure out before I even go into the test. I'm going to look back, and I know from looking back at all my tests that which strategies should I use. I'm going to call them power strategies for myself. I am going to commit to doing probably 3 strategies for every type of passage, those strategies that I know are necessary to ensure my success. I'm going to focus on those. Does that mean those are the only strategies I use? Not at all. But it means, yes, I am committed to doing these strategies because I get the most benefit as a test taker from these strategies. I know the first one that is it's a no-brainer. It's the one where I annotate all of my passages with what was said on the right side, and then how it was said. And that how it was said, we might call it a roadmap. I cannot be successful without this strategy, because I know in every passage they're going to ask me questions as a reader and they're going to ask me questions as an author. It is guaranteed. Without this, I will not be a huge success. One of the other strategies that I know I must do is I must prove and give evidence for all answer choices. Meaning, I'm writing out to the side why it isn't the correct answer, and then I'm writing out to the side why it is the correct answer. So I'm showing my reasoning for every single one. Even though I know the answers very quickly to a lot of the questions, I'm going to take the time to do that, and I'm committing to doing that because I know it will ensure my success. And the last one that I know that is hugely, hugely important for me, because I struggle on that whole support kind of questions, all right? Any of those support questions are the idea questions. I know that I have to take the time to bracket the idea and then match up like words. I have to do that. I cannot look at the questions on those big questions that ask me to match an idea with support or support idea. I cannot do it in my head. It's just too much. Oh my gosh, I'm going to add a 4th one. I'm going to add another one. That is the one about double passage, T-chart one. Right? I got to do it. I'm smart, but there comes a time where my brain's filled to capacity. Okay? So what I would like for you to do right now, I want you to kind of look at my STAAR plan. And what I might do later is I might make a video to myself and maybe make a motivational video to myself and kind of go over my plan with myself so I could watch it. What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to kind of look at mine real quickly, notice the different areas that are in these boxes, the different kinds of thinking, and turn and talk to a partner about the kinds of thinking and the kinds of components that are in my plan.